Hello everyone, Urologist Erdem Akkaya. This is a new channel, our previous channel is closed. Now our new videos will be here. Our first video is on nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is actually a molecule that allows blood vessels to expand and stay wide. It was discovered 20 to 25 years ago. Urologically, it has a very important place in erectile dysfunction. It has a very important place in erection. Erection has no chance to occur without nitric oxide. There are many substances to increase nitric oxide. It is used as a supplement. Arginine was introduced to the market, citrulline was introduced. In fact, nitric oxide can also be produced from glutamine. Nitrates in the vegetables we take can turn into nitric oxide. If our oral health is good, if our stomach health is good, if there is no problem with them, it can turn. So, when we use these supplements, does our erection quality increase or not? Here are many publications about this. There is confusion in publications. The most important and sensitive situation here is actually the age of the user. In other words, after the age of 40, the enzyme we call nitric oxide synthase unfortunately loses its functions. It cannot produce nitric oxide as before. Even if we take nitric oxide sources such as citrulline and arginine into the body, unfortunately, the system does not work as well as before. It's like putting gasoline in a broken-down car. But when you are young, of course, nitric oxide synthase works very strongly, especially in your 20s, and can produce nitric oxide. I mean, for example, when citrulline is taken, this may turn into nitric oxide very strongly in the 20s, but it may not turn very strongly over the 60s. For example, in some publications, they gave 2 grams of arginine to patients with sildenafil, which we call small blue pill. I think 2 grams of arginine is less, but they could not give high doses. Because arginine has a good risk of hypotension. In the study, it was not very beneficial to the effect of sildenafil, frankly, so it did not contribute much. It contributed 1 or 2 more points in the scoring of erectile dysfunction. Apart from that, they used it together with that long-acting little pink pill we call tadalafil. They used 5 grams of arginine with that pill, taking the risk of hypotension, but there was a moderate improvement there as well. But when studies on arginine and nitric oxide were done, global supplement companies immediately started to put arginine on the market. After a certain period of time, they said that the absorption of arginine from the intestines was very poor and that it was metabolized while passing through the liver. And so they switched to producing citrulline. Citrulline is actually a masked form of arginine in the body. They are already very close to each other. Citrulline is not eliminated from the liver. It is easily tolerated up to 15 grams from the intestines like arginine. It does not cause any side effects or anything like that. In studies on arginine, it was determined that citrulline increases nitric oxide much more strongly, and citrulline malate may be more active. Then already global supplement companies started to produce citrulline this time. Of course, the amount used here is high. Here the scales are 5 grams, 3 grams. They use high amounts of citrulline. For example, they said that citrulline is not found in the food we eat. So they said it makes sense to get it because citrulline is scarce. However, if we don't use citrulline, if we don't take the nitrates in vegetables, won't our body produce them? It's nothing like that. Do the ancient Mongols take citrulline? Do they eat spinach? Do they eat watermelon? No, they don't. The glutamine in fish and meat is converted to citrulline in the intestines. The body actually converts whatever it needs at that moment according to the age and metabolism. When you take glutamine, the body converts it to citrulline, then to arginine and then to nitric oxide. This mechanism is already working actively. What are the mechanisms that obstruct these systems in the body? For example, now does citrulline immediately turn into nitric oxide? It doesn't. Why not? If your micronutrients, zinc, selenium, magnesium, vitamins B12, folic acid, vitamin D are deficient. If the sympathetic system works excessively, if your testosterone is weak, all these mechanisms affect nitric oxide. For example, if testosterone is low, it means that the nitric oxide mechanism is working slowly. Or if all the vitamins and micronutrients are weak, again the nitric oxide mechanism works poorly. The important issue is this. Let's say we took 5 grams of citrulline from outside. If you are over 40, the nitric oxide synthase enzyme does not work efficiently, like putting gasoline into a broken car. But if you're in your 20s, you can get a much stronger response from these supplements. So at a younger age, this system works in a much better way. So how can we make the nitric oxide synthase enzyme work in a better way? Actually, especially our oral flora is very important here because there are bacteria in the mouth that are converted from nitrate to nitric oxide. At the same time, our stomach health, again, it is important to get away from stomach acid lowering drugs. As we said, it is important to ensure that there are no magnesium, calcium deficiencies. It is also very important to be able to absorb the nutrients in foods in a strong way, that is, stomach health is also very important. We need to pay attention to that. Folic acid, B12 metabolism, urea metabolism and hormone metabolism should be working properly. Because too much arginine can cause problems both in the adrenal glands and in other organs. In fact, if you are carrying herpes virus, extra arginine or citrulline can cause recurrence of herpes virus. Of course, these can be tolerated very easily when you are young. Your erection quality may improve due to the increase in nitric oxide. So as a result, we have to say this. When you try to increase your nitric oxide amount by taking supplements over the age of 40, this possibility is a little more difficult. Let's say you took citrulline, you used it and your erection quality improved. This means that your body is lacking in nitric oxide. You can actually make up for this deficit by supplementing it with diet. Nitric oxide metabolism is generally like this. And what do the sources say? For example, they talk about nitrate intake in vegetables. The maximum daily intake of nitrate should be around 270 milligrams for a 70 kilogram man. In fact, you can almost get it when you eat 100 grams of spinach. You can get it when you eat beets. In fact, the nitrate rate in vegetables is already very good, high. If we don't eat vegetables, can we get nitrate from meat? Of course we can. But besides getting nitrate from vegetables, you also get flavonoids, antioxidants and minerals, which is why they are valuable. You cannot get these from meat. You don't get nitrate from meat anyway, the nitrate rate in meat is very low. There is only nitrate in processed meat products. That is already harmful, because it becomes carcinogenic. In processed meats, they add nitrate to extend the shelf life and thus provide that vibrant red color. Since there is no alternative in the food sector, they have to use nitrate. So consume processed meat products as little as possible. In normal meats, there are 5 or 6 milligrams of nitrate per 100 grams. That's why you can't get much, but the nitric oxide mechanism can be triggered very easily from the amino acid glutamine in meat. The body has adapted itself somehow. Because human beings have a mechanism that has adapted itself to live anywhere in the world. As a result, how can we increase nitric oxide? By paying attention to oral and gastric health, increasing nitrate intake in a controlled manner and doing moderate amounts of sports. Thank you for listening, best regards.